Hi, welcome to Ranger Country. I'm Lawrence.
And I'm Peter.
And we're here to bring you the very long overdue Air Arms S510 review.
Yes.
Let's get into it. So, obviously, Air Arms are an all-English manufacturer. They're based on the south coast at Hailsham. They're one of the few places nowadays that actually build everything in-house. Everything's English, apart from the stocks, they buy them in. The metalwork is all finished in the country as well. So, yeah, it's last bastion of I think, all English, I guess. This is the S510. This is the S510 Carbine, so it's a sort of standard rifle. Features-wise, what have we got?
It's an oldish rifle, isn't it? Now, one of I saw on one of the comments on one of our videos quite a while back and saying, will you do the S510 Carbine? And it just so happened we were doing our preliminary checks on the rifles before putting them on the rack for sale, and this one was running a little bit hot.
On the second hand rack.
Yeah, so I brought this back to the workshop yesterday, dropped the power down, and I realised we've got an S510 Carbine.
There you go.
Let's do a video.
1 and 1 makes 3.
Yeah. Drilled the anti-tampers out, dropped the power down a little bit, re-anti-tampered, little clean up, and ready. And that's all we've done to it.
Okay.
So, yeah. So here we go with our review. So,
what have you got up your end?
I have got a rubber butt pad stuck on the back of this Manelli beach stock. Now, this Manelli beach stock is handed.
Yep.
So this is a right-handed stock. So we've got a raised cheek piece. If you're a lefty, you're not going to want to shoot that because that is quite sharp to the cheekbone.
Yeah. If you're a lefty, they do offer an ambidextrous super light version, which
tends to be the most popular now, doesn't it?
It's a little bit lighter. The wood's a little bit less dense. A little bit lighter. It's right or left-handed. A little bit more, but a little bit more money. Sorry.
I think we're looking probably around about 40 quid. I think for stock increments, aren't we on this? So I think the beach is the cheaper option, and then the super light versions are I think about 40 quid up. And then the walnuts
up from there.
Yeah. So moving forward, we've got a rosewood cap on there on the beach stock.
Yep.
Nice little touch with the Air Arms on it, AA. Into the trigger guard, the standard Air Arms cross trigger blade safety catch.
Yeah, it's a little
very simple.
Little pin with a ball detent inside for that nice click, and it just stops the trigger blade moving up, basically.
Now, unlike other safety catches that are inside the trigger guard, it's not possible to inadvertently squeeze the trigger, is it, when putting this on or off, because it's a cross action.
Yeah.
I mean, somewhat they've got a little lever in front of it. You can, if it was dark, if you're ratting in a barn or something, you could.
While you're trying to put the safety on, you could pull the trigger, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, I've done that myself in a barn. Yeah.
It's quite simple. It's effective. The trigger is very, very good, obviously, as you would expect.
They are superb. Yeah. Fully adjustable and very good. Yeah.
I don't know when I said it, but on another of our reviews it was one of the Pressy Hole guns, obviously distributed by Air Arms. They share the same sort of design philosophy, the same sort of ethos, where they don't offer you too much that you don't need, but the bits that are necessary, the bits that you do need, they're finished high quality. Yeah.
I think that's fair. Yeah, fair to say. Yeah.
Like the trigger is excellent. The stock is just beach stock, non-adjustable, but the trigger is excellent. Obviously, we'll get to the action and stuff shortly, but the action is very, very good as well.
Moving a little bit further forward from the trigger guard, we've got a standard Air Arms pressure gauge, calibrated in 50 bar increments. White needle, pretty easy to see what pressure's in it. You don't have to look down the business end either.
Yeah.
You just turn the gun over. Oh, there's something because I can't read it because I need better glasses, but yeah, it's up there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not the sort of large diameter gauges that we're seeing recently.
Colour-coded,
Yeah.
that a lot are coming out.
Yeah. The one that comes to mind, obviously, you've got Viroc and you've got the BSA R12. They're the most popular two.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Yeah, then it's not as easy to see as that. But
No.
then, like, once you get a feel for your rifle, you have your shots, you know when to fill it up. So I don't think that's too much of an issue. It's more of just a gauge
Yeah,
of when you need to fill it.
absolutely. Now on top here, we have a side lever. Now this is very similar to the Air Arms S400 stroke S410 series of rifles, which were bolt. Side lever for me are an awful lot easier to actuate.
Yeah.
The bolt, I always find if you grab the end of the bolt and pull it back, you're trying to pull the bolt off, trying to pull the pellet probe off center as you're pulling it back.
Yeah.
So it's a case of sort of two fingers on the bolt, thumb at the back of the where the nut is, where the bolt is that holds it in, to give it more of a straight pull back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to
easy with practice.
It's hard to sort of say without showing, but yes, the 510 is much easier to cut than a 410.
Oh, much easier, much easier.
It sort of coincides with a lot of rifles nowadays, which are going towards side lever, if they weren't already. The rise of the popularity of the 510 over the 410. So
Yeah,
we'll just say further to your point there, the 400 is the single shot version of the 410, and they do offer the 510 in the 500, which is the single shot version of this.
Yeah, but I don't know why you'd have that one.
Yeah, if it's a target rifle.
Yeah,
Save
yeah,
a bit of money, I
granted.
guess.
Yeah. It's always nice to have that multi-shot capability, isn't it?
Mm.
Magazine well there for the standard Air Arms 10-shot magazine. Now the Air Arms 10-shot magazines are pretty bomb-proof, aren't they?
Yeah.
They've got an O-ring around the outside that sometimes perishes, and that's it.
Yeah. 10-year-old O-ring, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
They're not spring-loaded or anything. They are it's the rifle that indexes them and not the magazine. So there's nothing actually spring-loaded or anything on the magazine.
Yep. Good catch.
And you get two of them with all these new
Yes,
410s and 510s.
Yes, you do. Moving forward, Lawrence, over to you.
Yep. So on the 510, you've got this lovely shrouded barrel. On the 410, you don't get that. But again, you pay your money, you get what you want. At the end of the shrouded barrel is a 1/2-inch UNF thread, but it's the wrong way around. Instead of being industry standard male threaded on the end of your rifle, it is in fact female threaded on the end of the rifle. What that means is you either need a 1/2-inch UNF male to male adapter, or Air Arms do a specific one. So obviously they want you to buy their own one. The Air Arms specific moderators are very, very good. Obviously they don't come with it as standard. As of time of filming, they're about 55-ish quid and then 80 quid-ish, something like that. For the two options, you've got a standard version and you've got a Q-Tech. The Q-Tech is much quieter.
And that's caliber specific, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Q-Tech.
Yeah. The Q-Tech is much quieter. It's the one to go for. If you don't mind spending a little bit extra on silencer, you'll notice a big difference.
Yeah.
And you've got this little thread protector here to finish it all off. Underneath here, we've got your fill adapter. It comes with you've got a little T-bar on the end of here. The connector goes over and then twists underneath this T-bar and then locks on from there. So again, it's quite simple. It's simple, it's easy to use, you know where you are with it.
It's effective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very effective.
I will say on the older, on the second-hand guns, what you tend to find is this little T-bar, this locking post, is usually just ripped off from people not pushing their connector on all the way and then turning it underneath, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's just one thing to watch out for. Make sure it's on all the way. It's obvious when you get it in your hands. Yeah, obviously you've got beach stock. This particular rifle has sling studs, front and rear. They don't come with that as standard, but it's just a walnut. It's just a wood beech stock, so you can just drill into that as this person has here.
A little word of advice: if you are going to drill into your stock, especially in the fore end, take the action out the stock first, just so you're not drilling into your cylinder. That could get quite dangerous.
And measure twice, cut once.
Very good.
Because when you've drilled your hole in your rifle and it's on the wonk, that's it.
Yeah, the wood filler does show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have come across that. So, should we get on to?
Well, now one more thing.
Oh,
one thing we haven't mentioned is the regulator on the rifle.
And it hasn't got one.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't have one.
Good point. Does it need one?
Well, now, again, further to my point of the side levers being on every new rifle that's coming out, everything tends to be side lever and regulated. Regulator, for those that don't know, is a little device, usually yay long, that will go into the action somewhere and will meter the amount of air that goes through every single shot. So you've got between 100 and 200 bar in the main cylinder. The reg will make sure that it's, let's say, 100 bar every single shot.
Unless it goes faulty.
Yeah.
So there's two ways of looking at this. If you have a regulated rifle, it's something else to go wrong.
Yeah.
Whether now or in the future. Does it make that much difference? I know that, in particular, an S510 we had in the workshop several years back, and it wasn't shooting very well. And somebody had put an aftermarket regulator in it. And I said to the customer, "Can I take it out and put it back to standard?" And he said, "Yeah." So I did. And the deviation on the feet per second was absolutely ridiculous once I'd taken this regulator out. It was within 3 or 4 feet per second. And
for the non-regulated rifle.
The non-regulated rifle. So I took it back to standard, where it should be, as it came out the factory. And it was surprising. It really was surprising.
Surprising in a good way.
Yeah, it was so good. And he says, "Brilliant. Why did they bother putting a regulator in it?" And it goes back to this. It seemed like a good idea, everybody's doing it. So you think you need a regulator, but if the gun's designed well and set up well, I don't think you need it.
A regulator will make the rifle more efficient.
Possibly.
You tend to get sort of 50% more shots out of them.
Possibly.
On something like an Air Arms where it's a cylinder, you'll lose a bit of space, but you do make up for that with the regulator, with the added efficiency. It will tend to be more consistent over the whole shot range. So this rifle will have a sweet spot between sort of 180 bar down to 120 bar, whereas a reg gun would tend to be 200 all the way down to 100.
Tend to be.
Yeah.
But then a lot of the regulated rifles, some of the regulated rifles, you can fill them to 250 bar, can't you?
Yeah.
And I know one manufacturer, it does say, if you have filled it to 230, it's not going to be as, what's the wording of it? It's not going to be as accurate until you drop down to about 230, till you get about 20 bar out of that cylinder.
Okay.
So they're not, it's not a complete answer.
Yeah, I don't tend to sell a regulated rifle on the added accuracy, because I don't think it will be. I tend to say it on the added efficiency. You get more shots out of the same size cylinder, which I think is quite a big offering actually as well.
Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, what we're trying to say is, because the S510 Carbine, the standard rifle, isn't regulated, don't necessarily see it as a drawback.
No. Again, comes back to they spend the money where they need to, and they don't where you don't need to.
Yeah.
I will just little added note: the Air Arms S510 Ultimate Sporter. So that's the same base action, but with a fully adjustable stock. That is available regulated. You get about 90 shots out of that one. You get about 70 out of this in a 177, and about 90 in 2.2. So again, a little bit more efficient. a few more shots, but probably not a huge amount more accurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shall we have a go at handling?
Yeah.
Give you some weight and length.
Let's look into those figures.
Let's go for it. Okay, into handling then. So total length is 37.5 inches, which is 95 centimeters, and the weight is 3.2 kilos in this beach. Now, I will just say that Superlight stock that we mentioned earlier, the ambidextrous one, is 2.8 kilos, which is
the same as the walnut, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think walnut and poplar are probably a very similar density, whereas your beech is a little bit denser wood.
Yeah. It saves the amount of weight that a scope would be.
Mm.
So you'd have a Superlight rifle for the...
One benefit of having a beech stock over a walnut or a Superlight, it's a little bit tougher. It will take knocks a little bit better. It's harder wood, and it just doesn't mark as much. So, yeah, that's one benefit.
There you go. I would say it's very, very well balanced. It's not a heavy rifle, and the Superlight version makes it quite light, I would say. It's really, really well balanced. It's traditional rifle style, as we always moan about the shorter stuff and the lighter stuff being harder to shoot necessarily. Yeah. We are back to fully traditional, and I quite like the look of it as well.
Yeah, stood the test of time, hasn't it? It's been around for quite a while in all its guises. The S400, the S410, the 510. Yeah, absolutely. Now, this one's got a shrouded barrel. Now, what that does give you is it does give you a puff of air out the back of the shroud. So the front of the action, you've got a couple of vent holes just here, and you do get a little puff of air out of there as you fire it. So it's like the relief of the air coming out before it reaches the end. It's sort of relieved down the inside the shroud to cause a moderating.
Makes it a bit quieter.
Yeah. Takes some of the noise out, reduces the air blast out the muzzle, but you do get it out the side here a little bit. So,
just one thing to be aware of.
Yeah. Now, price-wise, they're not a cheap rifle, are they?
No.
They're sort of. I mean, probably towards the upper mid-range, I would say now.
Okay. I mean, it's nearly, as of time of filming, they are nearly $1,000 though.
Yeah, I'd say a shade over 900.
Obviously, we try not to say actual prices because in a year or two's time we'll get comments saying, "Oh, that price isn't that." Well, yeah.
You said it's this much.
Yeah. But as of time of filming, that's where we are.
Yeah, but it will stand the test of time, and in 20 years' time, it's still going to be as good as the day you bought it. It's good in that time. It's going to have needed at least a service.
Yeah.
But it's going to be as good as.
But in that time, it's probably going to be exactly the same rifle.
Yeah.
They haven't changed this since 2006, have they?
The 510. I'm not sure. I'm not sure when the 510 came out.
I don't know about
the 410 certainly. They made modifications in 2006, didn't they, to the fill adapter?
Yeah.
A few other little tweaks, and that's 19 years, isn't it, this year?
Yeah, it's been the same gun, tried and tested. The best.
There must be an awful lot of 410s, 400s, and 510s out there in circulation.
Yeah,
being used in clubs every week.
I bet. Shall we give it a go and shoot it?
Let's see what we can do with it.
We'll be back with you shortly. Let's have a go, see what it does. Here we are, ready to shoot the S510. Let's give it a go. We've got the 2.2 version today. We're using Air Arms Diablo Field 16 grains. And as always, we are 25 meters indoor.
Right. Now, I'm a bit handicapped today.
Right, okay, this will be interesting.
It will, because I've only got a 9 magnification scope.
Right.
And my eyes want more than that.
So this is a second-hand rifle that we've got in at the time. And that's the scope that's
Scope
on
was
it.
on it. Yeah. So. So all I can do is just make sure that the centre dot is blocked out by the cross of the And that's as much zoom as I can get in. So
I think that's a new excuse.
It probably is. Yeah.
Mark it in the calendar.
Certainly not disappointing.
No.
Dare I go for one more?
You know you're going to miss if you do.
It's one of those Narnia shots.
You
You
have loaded it though.
Yeah.
Might as well while we're here.
As the pain men used to say, there's only one way to find out. But that was before one of them put a strimmer on the other one's backside, usually. So
I have no idea what you're on about.
that was probably.
It
wasn't like, before you. It was
like
a few years ago. Similar, yeah.
Oh,
they were called the Pain Men, and they brought tears to your eyes every week when they were on telly.
Oh, okay.
So now, just out of interest, you're going to read the date on that.
2013.
Oh, so we've got a 12-year-old gun here.
Yeah.
With a Nico Sterling scope on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Just took it off the second-hand rack.
First pellets that we've tried.
Can't knock that, can you?
No, not at all. Let's jump into conclusion. Okay, so to conclude, we've seen how it's shot. We have brought the target up, and it looks phenomenal. Obviously, we've got a little...
it's just there.
There he is. We've got a little monitor, which is TV screen sized, so it blows it up quite a lot. So when I was looking through it earlier, I was a little bit disappointed.
Were you?
But actually,
for my shooting, I was greatly impressed, to be honest.
Actually, certainly for a 2.2, that is very, very impressive.
So when you stand two pellets up like that, it's
yeah. So it's 10mm group.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
with half an hour of practice on the first scope that we had that it came with. That's not bad at all.
I was mightily impressed with that.
Yeah.
Now, I was even more mightily impressed with the age of the rifle. Now,
12 years old, it's 11 and a half, but yeah, 12-year-old rifle. And it's not changed at all.
No.
This is exactly the same gun as you can buy straight off the shelf, brand new, from 12 years ago.
Well, if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, they have brought out different versions. They brought the S510 Tactical, haven't they?
Yeah.
Which is
it's the same action as the Ultra Sport.
Regulated or unregulated in the Tactical, I think, isn't it? I think you can have a Tactical unregulated.
I don't know.
I think you can.
I don't know that anyone would or has.
No. But that looks like a typical. It's not traditional, is it? It's not wood and metal. It's not nice like this. But I mean, if you'd bought this 12 years ago, and it's still going as strong today, you'd be pleased that being in that shop at that time that you'd made that choice, wouldn't you?
Yeah, true. If you want again, it comes back to what I said at the start. If you want a simple, effective, high quality rifle,
I think you've got to put emphasis on that high quality.
Yeah.
High build quality, longevity has got to come into it.
Yeah. There are no specific leak points or fail points on them. Obviously, the air is held in with the rubber O-rings, and rubber will perish at some point in its life. But there's no
common faults with them.
No, and they're quite simple as well. Actually,
yeah. There is quite a lot of choice sub £900.
Yes, which you get more for it. More toys for it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Such as?
and probably similar accuracy. Like a lot of the Turkish stuff nowadays would put up similar accuracy results. Whether it's going to be still going in 12 years.
Are you going to get the reliability is what I was going to say after that. I don't think you would. Possibly
not. The internals will never be as good on the Turkish stuff as like the Air Arms.
No.
The quality of the metalworks used is always going to be better on this. Yeah, it will last longer.
We do service a lot of these. We are an Air Arms service centre, and servicing a 20-year-old rifle, a 15, 20-year-old rifle, the seals have had it, but that's it. There's nothing else. The grease in the action has gone hard. So we clean all the grease out of all the little orifices inside the action, clean the grease out, and always reapply a bit lighter lubricant, which doesn't tend to go hard like the grease does, and cause sort of sticky on the action and on the pellet probe. But in 20 years, if you've got to pay for a service, that's not bad. Probably 2 services in 20 years. That's not bad cost of ownership, is it?
No,
definitely not.
So what we're saying is it's a no frills rifle, but they've spent the money where it counts. It's high quality, trigger's really nice, the action's really, really smooth, the magazine works, really reliable. It's quiet and it's easy to fill, it's easy to use.
Yeah.
You don't get as many frills.
Yeah.
It's not as...
But it just works, doesn't it? It's the workhorse. It is the workhorse of the... And you know when you go to get this out your bag at the range, it's not going to be empty.
Yeah. When we buy in secondhand rifles, if it's an Air Arms, I know it's going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there we go.
Well, that's our verdict.
Yeah.
You think a little bit old hat. I think reliability.
I think there are so many second-handers nowadays, and obviously they've devalued. They've lost the depreciated.
Yeah.
Down to as low as they're probably going to. So that would probably be where my money would go.
I think this probably shows just what is available second-hand that can produce a grouping like that 12 years down the line.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. Why buy a new one? Invest in a second-hand one.
That would be my money.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.